started. The American Revolution began because of tea. In 1773, ships stacked with taxed tea sat in Boston Harbor. Colonists thought, nah, and started lobbing the stuff overboard. Crates burst, soldiers...
Britain won the 7 Years' War and went broke doing it. Victory banner, check. Global empire, check. Bank account, not so much. By 1763, the crown was sitting on a mountain of...
So they taxed the colonies without asking first.
No representation, no taxation. Catchy, huh? Colonists were sick of being charged by a parliament that couldn't even be bothered to stay awake for them. So when more taxes rolled in from across the Atlantic, the answer was simple. No representation.
Britain started slapping a tax on literally every bit of paper. Receipts, licenses, even your grocery bill. Colonists? Not thrilled. Crying at the printer, why is this my life level of not thrilled? And when they
Britain tried to sell cheap tea. Americans said no. Result? A soggy harbour and one very sad king.
Boston turned tea time into chaos time. In December 1773, colonists hurled over 300 chests of British tea straight into the harbour, politely telling the crown to go sip itself. Boston went bonkers, and Britain was not amused.
All Britain was done with tantrums, so it sent troops.
Soldiers started living in colonists' homes. Awkward. Under the Quartering Act, if the army ran out of barracks, homeowners had to host the king's finest, like it or not. Imagine strangers eating your...
Then, shots fired, 5 dead, tension sky high.
Paul Revere made a spicy headline. Massacre! The paper zipped across the colonies faster than free samples at a fair. Colonists saw the word, their jaws hit the cobblestones, and
Jefferson, Franklin, Adams, the OG brainstormers. 3 guys, 1 messy desk, and way too many ideas. From kites and keys to declarations and destiny, they plugged their brains in and boom!
The colonies held a meeting, basically a group chat IRL. First Continental what?
The British came for the guns. Americans came for freedom. Paul Revere yelled, "The British are coming!" Too loudly.
Seriously?
Oops.
And one gunshot started a global revolution trend. That musket ball didn't just ruin a redcoat's day, it ricocheted through Europe, giving the French ideas, the Prussians vibes, and basically everyone else a serious case of
Too tall, calm, and absolutely done with British rules. He shows up, salutes like a champ, and even brings his own cherry. Because, why not? The crown says, pay up.
From farmers to fighters. In like 2 weeks. These guys were plowing fields yesterday, and today they're apparently the army. Just swap the hay fork for a fancy coat, toss on a hat, and boom, Freedom Squad. Marching? Sort of.
Wait for it. Don't fire till you see their eyes. Oops. Too late.
Dollars, they printed money, and it became toilet paper. Continental dollars poured out of the presses by the millions until buying a loaf of bread cost, you guessed it, more continental dollars than anyone cared to count. The result, paper only good for wiping away a few.
Jefferson picked up a feather and started scribbling the fanciest words he could think of. And boy, did those words have range. He declared these truths to be, get this, self-evident, that all men are created equal, well, in theory, and that they have big...
July 4th, 1776, boom! America just happened. The colonies signed a breakup letter, slapped on an approved stamp, and yeeted it skyward like the loudest firework in history. And that's how the United States dropped into existence.
George read the Declaration and threw his tea. Not amused.
And the British Navy arrived.
Oh no.
One tiny rowboat versus the biggest floating death machine they could build.
Not ideal.
And just like that, the coast was officially off limits for anything scented with freedom.
The British took New York. Washington took a nap.
Christmas Eve, surprise attack time. While most folks are cozy by the fire, these guys are freezing their buttons off, rowing through ice floes to pounce on Trenton. Yeah, this is gonna be one frosty wake.
They beat the Hessians! Merry Revolution! Washington's icy Christmas surprise? Absolute win! Cheers, Trenton!
Winter came, and morale froze solid. Welcome to Valley Forge, where the fires are cold, the food is imaginary, and the soldiers are roasting literal ice cubes. Yeah, nothing warms the spirit like a bite.
A German dude showed up and fixed everything. Baron von Steuben had what the army desperately lacked, actual training. He whipped the ragtag line into shape. Straight muskets, crisp turns, even the same foot at the same time.
Arnold switched sides. Everyone yelled,
Traitor! He took his secret passcodes, tiptoed over to the British, and cashed them in for a bag of shiny coins. Not the good kind of Benedict. Yep.
France joined. Finally, someone with real ships. Their shiny navy cruised across the Atlantic, dropped off Lafayette with a literal baguette, and scared the life out of the Redcoats. French connection.
Fenn flirted his way to a French alliance. While Congress sent endless letters, Franklin toasted nobles, charmed the Queen, and slid a treaty across the table. Boom. France ships, guns, and money. America gets a life...
Saratoga. First big win!
Britain panicked.
Too many generals, not enough brains. The British command structure in North America was basically a collection of stubborn egos yelling at an upside-down map. Each officer had his own plan, his own time...
Franklin's cartoon snake became the revolution's logo. Benjamin Franklin's cartoon is extremely weight to approve revolution colony.
They had no shoes, but big dreams. Dozens of miles of snow between them and the nearest town. Food, gone. Toes, negotiable. Hope, weirdly still there, because sometimes the only thing keeping you...
Your tribes had to choose Britain or colonies. And yeah, neither side was exactly perfect. Some nations sided with the Redcoats, others with the rebels, and a few tried flipping a very tiny coin. The result, neighbors on opposite sides...
Some Americans stayed loyal. Bad career move.
Britain burned towns. Colonies burned angrier. Portsmouth went up in smoke, and so did everyone's patience. An emergency meeting later, light something back. Cue the Portland raid.
The war just started, and nobody's backing down.
75. 13 colonies. One big dream. Freedom fever? Oh yeah, it's contagious. And it's spreading fast. United States? Maybe.
Common Sense, a pamphlet that slapped the British. Written by this guy, Thomas Paine, it basically yelled, "Hey colonies, dump the crown already," and everyone went, "Yeah, makes sense." The little booklet with the
Britain. They figured one big shot across the pond would scare some farmers with muskets. Instead, it scared themselves. They underestimated the rebels. Big mistake.
Talks failed, muskets didn't. While negotiators argued over commas, soldiers restocked on lead. And the so-called peace? Yeah, up in smoke. So everyone politely lined up and impolitely tried to erase each other.
Freedom wasn't just a fight, it was an idea. And like all good ideas, it showed up uninvited, made a mess, and then set the sky on fire. Colonists scribbled, argued, and, surprise, sometimes actually agreed. Every spark, another reason to keep...
Europe watched and started taking notes. France, Spain, the Netherlands, everyone was suddenly scribbling like it was final. Exam season.
History just got dramatic. Britain was charging the colonies for every cup of tea and sneeze they made. The response? Host a harbor party. Bring your own disguises. Shots were fired, redcoats panicked, and suddenly George here was the action hero nobody...
From Boston to Philly, Liberty was trending. Each chime of the bell was basically a retweet with extra echo. And the more it rang, the more the colonies were like, yep, that's the good stuff.
Outnumbered, outgunned, but never out of spirit. Through mud, metal, and way too much rain, they shoved that flag skyward anyway. Because you can break a line, but you can't break their hope.
The revolution had just begun. Part 2 awaits.